Hey, glad to be here, obviously. Beautiful ballpark, great surface, a lot of tradition here at North Carolina, and my first time to ever be inside the ballpark. Um, hopefully the weather holds, and I'm sure we're going to have great crowds. I know our guys are excited to be here.
Do you know your rotation yet for the weekend?
Rotation, I know who's pitching tomorrow. That would be Connor Nolan.
You anything beyond that?
No.
But could Hagan be coming out of the bullpen and not starting?
Anybody that's not starting game one can be coming out of the bullpen.
Including Jalen?
He actually texted me the other night and told me he had an inning in him, and that's fact.
Really? Okay, that's good enough.
As did a few other position players.
Maybe you alluded to this the other night, but you played so many teams over all these years and not to play North Carolina. How weird is that? And just what do you think about getting to play them now, obviously under a big stage like this?
Yeah, it is probably a little strange because been to Omaha a couple times. I think when they've been there, we just never matched up, but watched them a lot.
Their coach said he thinks his team you guys remind him of his team, the way you play and everything. Do you see any similarities between y'all?
Well, just looking at the scouting report and looking at their numbers, and I mean, there's a lot of things that are even. I think that probably what he's maybe alluding to a little bit would be that they played well down the stretch. They started a little earlier than we did, but they had their backs against the wall probably mid-May, and I think maybe won like 7 of their last 9 conference games, and then continued that hot streak through the tournament. And then this past weekend, they fought through some adversity, losing that game on Saturday, and won 3 straight. So, but the numbers are probably close. They got 3 guys in their lineup with like 20 home runs or more, and a couple guys can really run. Really good defensive team up the middle. I think is probably what he's talking about a little bit.
You guys got Chris Lanzilli to come to you from out in this area. How did you find him, and what are your thoughts about what he's added to your team this season?
Well, obviously played at Wake Forest, graduated, and missed part of a year because of COVID. I think he just wanted to go in the portal and see what would happen. We knew about him a little bit. Coach Hobbs knew about him a lot more because he was there when Chris was a freshman, and that's pretty much what we knew about him. What everybody else did, he put up pretty good numbers.
Sorry, this for the guys, since y'all have been sitting here. How do you guys like the ballpark? How is it so far? How do you like the area?
I think it's good. I mean, we always get to get a good feel of the field, and the hitters obviously got to swing it a little bit today, so that's always good. I got to track down some fly balls, so the outfield looks like a good surface. It's sturdy, so we're excited to play here.
I mean, I feel like it's one of the top, prettiest parks I played in. I mean, it's so beautiful, just all the trees around. I mean, the surface plays well, so we're gonna have lots of fun here.
For practice, do you guys tell if it's hitter friendly, maybe like OSU was, or pitcher friendly, or do you get any sense of one way or the other?
I think Jalen probably knows better than I do. I didn't get to swing at any today, so I'll let him answer that
I
one.
mean, I thought it played pretty true. I mean, to get a ball out, you have to get it pretty good.
Coach, last week in Stillwater, all the action was left to center, it felt like, and here, does it feel like it might be more right field friendly?
Well, the wind's lightly blowing in from right today, and then almost straight in. I'd say 5 miles an hour. When you hit the ball up high, it was getting knocked down. Again, it depends on the wind. Is air's thick? Is it humid? But yeah, I mean, it's so hard to evaluate it after just an hour and a half on the field, and who knows how it'll play once the game starts.
Yeah, what's your take on Carlson? That's who they're starting.
Yeah, really, I mean, he's got good stuff, and you look at his numbers; they're good. He's going to be what we see on Fridays in the SEC. He's going to attack you with 3 different pitches and maybe a 4th, and he's got a good fastball. I know that, and he's been around. He's experienced. So other than that, haven't seen him in person. Just a little bit of video, and listen to what people tell you about them.
Connor, before the Stillwater Regional, you talked about how not you or any of your teammates have gone on the road in postseason play besides Vancouver. Do you kind of feel that same energy this week?
I think so.
Down below?
Yeah, I think going on the road's good for us. We have a little chip on our shoulder, and it gives you confidence going to somebody else's ballpark. I think you saw last weekend we were comfortable, and it wasn't a home crowd, but there was a great crowd there, and that gives us a lot of confidence. I'm sure we'll have great crowds here, so we're excited to have the opportunity to come to somebody else's ballpark for a super.
Yeah, I know it wasn't a ton of defense in games 1 and 2, but in game 3, it really seemed like that was a difference, especially for you and Bob. How much do you guys think that Bill's defense at times impacts a game?
I mean, anytime. I mean, we make a play, we feel like it's a real game changer. I mean, just me, Bob, and Caden. I mean, we're pretty solid on the field, and I mean, our pitchers feel very confident when a ground ball gets hit that we're gonna make the play.
Dave, you talked so much about the regular season and how it prepares you for the postseason. You know, a lot of your trips this year have been to ballparks for teams that are hosting regionals. So I wonder, you know, kind of going through that experience so many times up to this point, how do you think it prepares your team?
Well, I don't think there's anything that replaces it. You can talk about it all you want when you go and play in some tough environments in league play or even a tournament early. I think it definitely it gets you ready mentally that what you're getting into, and you really don't get shocked by anything. And some days it goes great, some days you have to fight a little bit more. Teaches you how to come back on the road if you've done it. I mean, experience. I've said it a lot. Nothing, you can't replace it. You got to live it.
You know, Dave, there's 5 SEC teams in the Supers, and then Texas and OU, which obviously are coming into the league. So I'm sure the SEC could promote. They have 7 teams in the Supers. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, I think it's great for our league. I think the ACC is super strong this year. I mean, the talk is that their league was deeper than ours. It really doesn't matter now. It's all about just playing well. I mean, we thought Oklahoma State was one of the best teams we played all year, and their lineup was tough. Pitchers were good. Velo was big. And then you got 2 other teams in their league that are still playing, and the team that won the overall championship got eliminated. So I just think that there's some really, really good baseball teams out there this year. I think it's because a little bit of the COVID year. I think a lot of teams are older and experienced, and they're hard to beat.
And Jalen, you guys essentially won like a super overdose in terms of winning 2 out of 3 against a host team. How good does that make you guys feel? Does that add some confidence coming in here that, hey, we just did it last week, but we can do it this week?
Yeah, I mean, it adds a lot of confidence, but I mean, we're just coming in here having fun. I mean, just playing loose, but also being intent with it. So, I mean, I feel like we're at our best when we're just having fun and picking each other up.
That was a long, hard regional, long games. And you guys are having a travel game. Carolina's been at home the whole time. For both you players, how do you guys feel physically? And maybe how draining was that last week? And maybe when did you start feeling kind of normal again?
I think we're back to normal. I mean, we had a good day's rest there and got back to Fayetteville. But last weekend was draining. But that's kind of how everything is from here on out. I mean, every weekend you go into it knowing you're going to expend a lot of energy. So I think we're ready and prepared all week for this.
Hey, you just spoke to experience. You have Connor this year, so a guy that's been here a while. You had Isaiah 3 years ago and Blaine 4 years ago. How nice is it to have that your Friday night, or in this case Saturday night guy, knowing what he's been through?
Well, it's a good feeling, obviously, and I think that having an older guy pitch first day out can be big for both teams. I just think that the confidence that brings to the coaching staff, the players in the field, it's a good feeling. He's been steady Eddie all year. He always gives us a great effort. He doesn't make excuses, and I think the team really, really likes playing behind him.
Clay Henry wanted me to ask you this. I was just asking Jalen about the middle infield. What does Bob and Jalen compare to Dave Van Horn and Chris Shaddy back in the day?
Well, they're a lot younger now. Back in the day, they're better than us, I think. Chris made it to AAA. I got a cup of coffee at Durham for like the last week of the season in A-ball. it's been really fun watching them and coaching them. They kind of know what each other are doing as the ball's being pitched, delivered. It's one of the best, if not the best, double play combination that I've ever coached. So just feel real fortunate to watch those guys all year, 2 years now, really.
Is it true you only had 3 errors on college, but it was really like 1, the other 2 didn't really count?
Yeah, I think I made 3 errors my junior year. One of them wasn't an error. It's a bad hop hit me in the throat, but that's another story.
When you guys,
As a position player, played all of them last week. How do you feel physically? How do you think the position guys are doing?
I mean, when we first came back from OSU, I was pretty drained, but I just feel like one or 2 days of rest is fine for me, and I'm back to normal.
when you got Hagen Smith closing Monday night's game, you also had Elijah Trest up in the bullpen, and he had pitched for you the night before. I assume he had shown you something that you really liked the night before to have him up again. Just your thoughts on where he's at right now.
Yeah, I think he really wanted to pitch, and I think when you get down to situations like that, you got to pitch guys obviously that have some talent, but you got to put guys out there that really want to be out there. And I felt like maybe Trust had that going. We needed a right-hander up. In our opinion, he was maybe the freshest guy that had some experience.
Because of the difference in the format, in the regionals, you can play 4 or 5 games here. You're not going to play more than 3. Does it change how you approach things from a bullpen perspective?
Well, I think if it was game 1, maybe, but it's still the same situation. If you lose 2, you're done. So every pitch is important, every inning, and we will. If you get to a situation if a game's out of hand, then sometimes it's best to let it go, get ready for the next day. But you just have to evaluate all that's going on. Are you swinging the bat, still scoring runs? It's the same if you get a big lead. Who do you bring in? You want to change the momentum. If a guy comes in, he gives up 4 or 5, even though you're up 10, and it kills your momentum. So we're just going to go with the best available until the game basically tells us not to do that.
For Dave and Connor, I guess Honeycutt for them has 24 home runs as a freshman. What do you think of him?
Pretty amazing. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's
yeah.
it's a lot of pumps, and as a freshman to come do that, I think that speaks a lot to his hard work and having a great year. So I think you see a lot of guys like that and throughout the country that have hit a lot of home runs, and I'm glad we get to play them.
Last one.
Sorry. For Connor and Jalen, just how do you feel about playing in an early morning game? Do you feel good about it? Do you like playing in the mornings better than at night? How do you guys feel about the start time?
I like it. I like getting up and moving around. You don't have to wait around all day for the game, so it kind of takes all the nerves and all the anxious waiting out of the equation.
Yeah, I like it as well. I mean, it's also easier to see in the day than it is at nighttime. So I feel like it's a good advantage for hitters as well.
All right, guys, appreciate it.
Okay.